With the ever increasing, you know, removal of features when it comes to flagship phones, the question I have to ask is there really a reason to upgrade anymore? What's up, y'all? Sparta here. And I guess for this video, what I want to get into is the ever growing, the ever growing non need to upgrade your phone every year. And this comes from somebody that has done this for a while, somebody that does indeed have a YouTube channel where I do review phones for the most part, right? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that that you're wrong for buying a phone every year if you can indeed afford it and if you indeed feel those upgrades matter to you. But when a phone from one year to another takes away features, and I'm not talking about, it just downgrades the screen from 1440p to 1080p. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about taking your charger out the box, lowering the speed at which your phone charges, taking your SD card expansion out of the phone, rather. Passing off features as if they're features of your phone rather than features of the chipset. And overall, just making it less of an upgrade. And from what you guys can hear from how I'm saying it, it does obviously sound like I'm echoing this S20 to S21 upgrade, right? And it's the most relevant, I feel, because it's the one that I've seen more and more tech reviewers say, it's less of an upgrade and stuff like that, right? And it makes sense because it is less of an upgrade. But it is at the fault of them, the bigger channels, not necessarily the smaller ones, that review other phones other than Samsung and Apple and don't get any views, right? And this is on y'all. Y'all perpetuated this. Not to say that it's solely at the fault of the reviewers. Obviously, it's on the phone manufacturers, the phone makers. It's on them too for taking those features out in the first place, because they took out, Apple started by taking out the headphone jack. Samsung teases them for a couple years and they take out the headphone jack. Then slowly, as Apple starts doing certain things, Samsung makes fun of them, and then they decide to do it again. They decide to do the same thing. The Bixby button used to be a separate button, right? Then when you look at Samsung phones now, the Bixby button is integrated within the power button. Now you can change it to just be a power button, something you can't do on iPhones, but they still copied Apple in that regard. Now they're giving the excuse, you can have 512 gigabytes of internal storage. Why do you need an SD card? You have cloud storage. Why do you need an SD card? Because it's not for the purpose of needing it. It's for the purpose of, I would rather have stuff offset to separate, dedicated storage and not cloud storage, and not my internal storage, so my internal storage could work faster overall and not get slowed down by thousands of photos, maybe hundreds of 4K 60 FPS videos that I've recorded, stuff like that. And it could be used for stuff like games, stuff like, other apps. And to me, just saying that you don't need it anymore totally misses the point. But that's not all that I'm really here to talk about. The main thing is that when I look at stuff like this, when I hear people say stuff like this, and then they were the main people that, the moment Android people in particular, the moment Samsung decided to take these things out, oh, it just not needed anymore. Oh, so you were shitting on Apple for it. And the other thing to me is that 2020 phones are more than good enough. The V60, more than good enough. S20, S20 Plus, S20 FE, S20 Ultra, more than good enough. Note 20 Ultra, more than good enough. Fuck. Sony Xperia 1 and 5 Mark II, more than good enough. Hell, you look back at iPhone 11s, more than good enough. You don't really need the 12s if you are still using your phone very basically. You really don't. And I'm not trying to say that in a smarmy, you don't use your phone like I do, so why do you need it? It's you genuinely don't. I think phones, the only thing, I would not still use a 10S maybe, but an 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, you're totally good. You get the vast majority of those features still that you would get on the newer phones. Apple tends to lock features behind new phones too. Samsung is starting to do that as well. This isn't just despite the fact that the S20 Ultra and the S21 Ultra basically have the same cameras, aside from the fact that it has the S21 Ultra has a second telephoto lens. They're basically the same cameras. It's like, to me, there's really nothing that I can say to justify getting an S21 Ultra, other than the fact that if you're coming from like an S20 FE, the battery bump will be very nice, bigger screen, S Pen support. That's optional. That's no longer just in the phone if you didn't really like it being in the phone. Stuff like that. But overall, phones are becoming more and more dumbed down. And I think a lot of the bigger tech reviewers are to blame because all they do is review for the average consumer, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because, that gets the numbers. And tech people are not going to buy, they're just not going to buy the newest iPhone every year. They're not going to buy the newest Galaxy every year. They're just not going to do that. Like, look at the people that used to, that got mad when when the Nexus died and it became the Pixel, or when OnePlus stopped making phones that were $400, $500, $600. Look at those people. Those were techies, right? Those are tech enthusiasts that just wanted a basic phone that you could get quick Android updates on, and it was very fast and had the latest chipset. Those people now go to the Poco phone and phones like that probably don't get that much support, but solely because they have the latest and greatest chipset. That's all they care about. And to me, when it comes to things like this, I don't necessarily think going from a V60 to a V70 or whatever they call it is going to be that big of a leap. We'll see. If they have what the rumors suggest, maybe, which I don't know about a 4K 120 hertz display. I see a 2K 120 hertz display, but we'll see, man. We'll see. But every year, LG has done something that made me be like, yeah, that's the phone I want every single year. Even when the V60 took out features like a quad HD display, I I always found some reason that I liked the V60 over the V40, that I liked the V40 over the V30, the V30 over the V20, the V20 over the V10. I've G7, G8 over 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5 over 4, 3 over 2. Never had an Optimus G, so I can't say 2 over 1. But I've always found some reason why Nexus 4, G2 over Nexus 4. There's always been something. And that's all I really want to say, man. It's like, figure out what these phones are actually going to do that you can't do on your phone now. Because I'm really struggling to think. I don't think the S21 Ultra is going to impress me as much as I would like it to. I'm expecting just a souped up S20 FE. That's all I'm really expecting, without the SD card support, obviously. And to me, it's like, that's cool. I'll get what I expected, but it's not going to keep me, it's probably not going to keep me coming back to it nearly as much as the V60 did. As the V70 or whatever they call it might end up doing. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys feel about this. Apologies for this more handheld video. I am at my apartment, but yeah, have a good one, you guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for 986 subscribers, almost to 1,000. I want to start live streaming again, so that would be nice. Have a good one.